flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome everyone. Let the record show that all City Council members are present with the exception of Council members Fairbanks and Kerr. There is a copy of the open meetings law on the west wall. It's posted in the meeting room here and is accessible to members of the public at any time during the course of this meeting. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. First item is item A, approve agenda as submitted. Item B, receive and place on file all notices pertaining to this meeting. Item C, receive and place on file all materials having any bearing on this meeting. Item D, approval of minutes of regular meeting on August 3rd, 2015, as on file in the City Clerk's office. Item E, approval of Treasurer's Report of Claims. E1, approval of the Gage County Area Growth N-Gage claim in the amount of $6,400. Item E2, approval of the balance of the Treasurer's Report of Claims in the amount of $492,591.98. Item F, approval of the Boswell Report of Claims in the amount of $17,858.78. Item G, approval of write-off of ambulance and bad debts. Item H, resolution number 5804, amending the City of Beatrice 457B plan for its employees as stated in the amendatory agreement number 2 related to loans. Item I, approval of change order number 1, a decrease in the amount of $7,700.18 and final contract price of $39,861.91 to R.L. Tiemann Construction, Inc. for the miscellaneous concrete street repairs project number 15-005 as recommended by the Board of Public Works. Item J, approval of change order number 1, a decrease in the amount of $2,537.05 and final contract price of $43,596.05 to R.L. Tiemann Construction, Inc. for the curb and gutter replacement project number 15-006 as recommended by the Board of Public Works. And item K, approval of change order number 5, an increase of $16,268.71 to Elkhorn West Construction, Inc. for the Beatrice Public Library renovation. Are there any items that a council member would like removed from the consent agenda?
K, please.
Item K. All right. Anybody else? Anyone from the audience? Mr. Catlin?
Mayor, I move that all the items listed under the consent agenda, with the exception of item K, be approved, accepted, and ratified as presented.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Morgan, that all items under the consent agenda, with the exception of items K, be approved. Your vote, please. And that is approved 6-0. Mr. Party.
I'll make the motion.
All right, sorry.
Mayor, I move the approval of item K, approval of change order number 5, increase in the amount of $16,268.71 to Elkhorn West Construction Incorporated for the Beatrice Public Library renovation. Be approved, accepted, and ratified as presented.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Party. Mr. Party, you've got the floor.
Since that's a fairly large amount, is this getting close to a final on this project or not?
I believe right now we're looking at construction completion. I think we're hoping for October.
You want to come up,
The last
Lorraine?
time you've heard of Lorraine? I think we have a construction meeting Wednesday for an update.
I'm Lorraine Riedesel, and I don't know a whole lot more than you do, except that I notice on all of the schedules that we've had now for 2 meetings in a row, which means for a month, that their completion date is dated at the end of September, the very end of September, in terms of the contractor and their responsibility to us. So it's our hope that they will be wrapping up things and out of there by that date. A painter showed up tonight, 2 hours early. So, but they're painting right now in some of the areas on the upper floor. So there is hope. They're working in both places, hopefully wrapping up things in the lower level, and they have done drywall and some construction. Some deconstruction in terms of taking out rooms, and are rebuilding on the side that the public sees. They've put in wall where there was a door, and they've put in woodwork to replace, again, a place that there was a door. So all of that we can see is moving along, and that and then whatever the fine tuning is for those punch lists for the basement is what we have ahead of us. So we should be in that last stretch. After this length of time, I'm almost afraid to be too optimistic because I've been optimistic in December, April, and June. So in August, I tried to have a real dose of reality. So I'm hoping that the October date is a true one.
So this really isn't meant for any payment of sorts. This is just to keep adding on to the total or minusing to the total?
This would be adding on
This
to the
is an
total.
increase.
These
There
are,
wasn't a final, 'cause
oh no,
ways to go.
no. This is not a final. We do have a ways to go yet before we're there.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Anyone from the audience? All right, thanks, Lorraine. Have a motion on the floor. Your vote, please. That is approved 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen. There are no public hearings or ordinances. Next item on the agenda is the public forum. Purpose of the public forum is for the presentation of an item by the general public to the City Council for consideration at a later date. No discussion or action will be taken by the City Council at this time. Is there anyone here for the public forum? I will make mention that Senator Deb Fisher will be in Beatrice on August the 31st. She will be at the Primavera Room from 4:30 to 5:30. We also are going to have a meeting that night, a special meeting, to review some budget numbers, and that the League of Municipalities 2015 annual conference is going to be September 23rd through the 25th in Lincoln. So if there's anyone who would like to attend any or a part of that session, you're certainly welcome to do so, and you have the agenda in front of you. Anything else for the public forum? Okay, next item is discussion, the city administrator's monthly reports.
Once again, we have a report in your book. I'm going to hit a couple of the highlights, but happy to answer any questions you have. First, with regards to the budget, we did present to you tonight the biannual budget. As you go home and take a look over it, if you have any questions, feel free to contact myself or Linda. We'll be happy to walk through whatever questions you have. We'll come back in a week, kind of give you an overview of it, and department heads will be here to answer any questions that you have. And then we'll come back the following week again to discuss any more questions, make any changes you want to make, those types of things before we look to approve it that Tuesday after Labor Day, because it's due to the county by the 20th, and that'll be our last meeting before we have that opportunity. As far as the branding goes, if you look on page 25 of your packet, you'll see it's also on your budget book, the branding logo that we came up with for the city of Beatrice. We're still fine-tuning a few things as far as truck decals and those types of things go, and once those are done, hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have that out, and you'll start seeing it show up around town. A few other highlights, TIF agreements. We had 3 TIF agreements that have been completed. Those would be the Husqvarna building, the Tractor Supply building, and there was a couple in the Evans divisions over in Glenover that have been fulfilled. And so we had the CRA take action they needed to cancel out those TIF agreements, and we've notified the county. And so you'll see those come back onto the tax rolls here, I believe, next year. And so that was one thing that we got completed here recently. Police department's currently on mandatory overtime due to some officers being out for injuries and a couple, one other that left the department for another job, and so they're on mandatory overtime. Public properties, you'll note that Mr. Pethoff believes he has about 60 to 65 trees he thinks he's going to have to remove as a result of the flood. And so it's another one of those items that you'll see us continue to have to rebound from the flood there. You will note that we have 2 items going on at Scott Street Ball Fields. One is we got the grant from Exmark and the Thomas Foundation, and so you'll be seeing a playground be installed over at Scott Street Ball Fields. Hopefully that'll be completed yet this fall. So with their help, we'll get that installed. Also, Keep Beatrice Beautiful was successful in obtaining a grant for us to install a picnic shelter over at Scott Street Ball Fields. And so Mark and his guys will be constructing that this fall yet as well. And then the last thing I would note is we've talked about the AMI system a number of times. The communication system has been installed for the AMI system, and the electric department has installed 60 or 45 endpoints at this time. They're currently testing them, make sure they work, but those are up and operational. We have ordered the endpoints, if you will, the communication devices for the water meters, but those have not yet been delivered. And so that project is moving forward.
How many have been installed, did you say?
About 45. Any other questions?
Anybody?
The resolution on,
We're coming back to that one.
All right. Thanks, Tobias. We are actually now going to go into executive session. Mr. Catlin?
Mayor, I move that the Beatrice City Council go into closed session at 7:10 PM for the protection of public interest to discuss strategy with respect to litigation which is imminent as evidenced by communication of a claim or threat of litigation to or by the public body. Contract negotiations also.
second.
Been moved by Catlin, seconded by Morgan. We go into an executive session for the protection of public interests to discuss strategy with respect to litigation which is imminent as evidenced by communication of a claim or threat of litigation to or by the public body in contract negotiations. Your vote, please. And that is approved 6-0. And there is a possibility that we will make some type of a decision. So if you guys want to stick around, that's great. Or you can either call me or
Call myself.
Tobias tomorrow. Okay?
Or you can call me tonight.